Howdy there. So, I vanished for a couple weeks, mostly to figure out build crafting for Prismatic. Prismatic, as we got it initially, without the exotic class items, was an amorphous blob that I didn't really get. As we've received class items, its identity has been more defined, and I think that's nice for me, because if I have an idea of what the general meta is for Prismatic, I have an idea of how to break it, which that meta has shaped up to be basically Spirit of Synthoceps. And I find that boring, so I just kind of said, I want to do something and see if it works. Spirit of Verity is the catalyst by which I worked. It states weapon final blows matching your grenade grant a grenade damage bonus up to 5 times, which is 100% damage bonus, which is quite nice. It's a good exotic from Warlock that I deeply enjoyed over on Warlock for a very long time. But my idea was, does it buff Gunpowder Gamble? The answer was yes. So I decided to go all in. Spirit of Inmost Delight is just kind of an oddball pick. Ultimately, if you have anything in this first column, it'll probably be fine. The important part is having Spirit of Verity, but I deeply enjoy the uptime granted from Combination Blow, due to Combinations Blow being weird and not using its charge on hits that don't kill. It's still granting Heart of Inmost buff. I just like the free uptime that it grants. However, Gunpowder Gamble, again, is buffed by Verity's Brow, but is charged in a different way. It states defeating targets with abilities, elemental debuff damage, or solar weapons charge Gunpowder Gamble. Elemental debuff damage is new. So it realistically means to say targets affected by debuff damage, um, meaning things like slow, scorch, etc., etc. All your debuffs are listed up there in top right. But Duskfield grenades are the interesting choice. Of course, I can say that every single one of these works to varying degrees. I haven't used magnetics. Arc bolts are alright. Swarms are pretty good. Grapples are very good. Um, but like, Duskfields seemed like the interesting choice for me because they are literally conduits of slow, which means if you kill anything affected by your Duskfields, you get free Gunpowder Gamble, meaning you can throw a Duskfield and then, I don't know, shoot a grenade launcher shot matching Stasis, aka Lost Signal, New Pacific Epitaph. Realistically, any weapon works. Just kill a bunch of things affected by a Duskfield grenade, and you will get Gunpowder Gamble charged quickly, as well as you start stacking Verity Brow's buff. Um, and that basically means that you have a infinite or an instant cast for a pocket nuke, where you just throw a grenade launcher shot, and then boom, you have a pocket nuke that does like 125,000 damage. Stylus Executioner is kind of an off pick. Ultimately, if you want to run Ascension, Threaded Spectre, or Winter's Shroud, I wouldn't exactly complain. They aren't bad. I just thought Stylus Executioner because I run a Callus mini tool, but like, that's just me. Because this melee loop is here, mostly for the sake of Heart of Inmost, and also because Fast of Ruin, the effective Ember of Eruption of Prismatic, is the only thing that can buff Gunpowder Gamble, I just kind of focused on melee and survivability. Facet of Courage basically is there for the sake of if I want to throw a dust field and then go in with melees, I realistically can. However, if you're running like different grenades, if you want to run some like an actual grenade or like grapple and then run Blessing, that does work. If you want to run an Arc or Avoid one and run Dominance, that works. If you want to even run Blessing for the fun of it, go for it. Um, anyway, if you're running a kinetic weapon with a energy weapon like Forbearance, uh, and just want the free Transcendence energy, go for it. I'm not exactly gonna stop you. Also, Balance or Awakening is good. Balance is as well. Um, but like this is just kind of here to fill that slot of like I throw a dust field, go in with melees, go ham, and have like an extra 20% damage. Facet of Dawn is in a similar vein, but for weapons rather than abilities. Meaning I punch something, get a free 15% damage buff in Radiant. Facet of Protection and Purpose are both in the same vein of survivability. I run a Stasis Super, meaning Facet of Purpose is granting me Frost Armor. Ultimately, anything that you want to run is probably fine. Um, I just really like the fact that Silence's Squall is really strong right now, and also Frost Armor is a free damage resistance. Speaking of free damage resistance, that's basically protection. And as mentioned, Faceted Ruin is the only thing that can buff Gunpowder Gamble, so it's just there to do that. Mod-wise, it isn't too complicated. I run a siphon for the harmonic weapon of my grenade, so in my case, Stasis. Ultimately, if I were smart, I would run a heavy ammo finder and a heavy ammo scout instead of double harmonic and a solar siphon. However, I do just like my free orbs from Callus Mini Tool, so yeah. Heavy-handed impact induction is pretty standard protocol for a grenade or a arc hunter setup. Ultimately, if you want to run firepower, grenade kickstart, whatever you want, go for it. I just would stray away from bolstering and focusing strike as well as momentum transfer because ultimately impact induction and then like the kickstart and fonts mods basically the best you're gonna get. Chestplate is chestplate. I run an innervation. Recoup is ultimately unnecessary but kind of nice. And then I run a solar weapon surge for the free damage bonus. Ultimately, if you want to run into whatever the weapon that's matching your grenade, I wouldn't blame you. Just, I prefer the damage bonus on a primary. Um, and then time dilation is to extend that damage bonus, and Reaper is just to do something. Because utility kickstart burns your armor charges, and like, not really the point of running powerful attraction. Uh, Things like that. So like realistically, though, this class item can be whatever you want. If you want to triple stack powerful attractions, I can't say I blame you, but like I don't know, it just doesn't not the exact point to like be running through the combo blow dodge loop. That's the build, kind of. I don't know. This build started with literally just a question of, does Spirit of Verity buff Gunpowder Gamble? And then I just thought way too hard about it. I don't know. I think using Dusk Fields for debuff damage is fun. It also gives me a reason to run a high darkness damage weapon for Transcendence, all that fun stuff. But that being said, I'll try and get prismatic stuff out soon. I have a few builds in store. It's just I need to get working. So that's all I have. See y'all next week.